We've owned this home for 5 years now. Tarl originally sold it to us 5 years ago, or he represented us during the sale. And every year since we've moved out of it, I tend to call Tarl and say, "Hey, is now the year? Are we ready to sell it?" We've been renting it out for the past 3 years, and we kind of were on the fence about whether or not we wanted to keep renting it out or keep selling it. Obviously, you want to sell it when the market's hot, and about, I don't know, 2 months ago, we just called Tarl and said, "Hey, is now the time? Is now a good time to sell our house?" And when he started talking about the market dynamics here in Houston and how hot the market was and the current inventory of homes that were available, it made a lot of sense for us to look at selling, and that's ultimately the decision we went with. So
yeah, we purchased the home at the end of '08 when the market was low, so we'd sort of been waiting for Houston to rebound, and Tarl had advised that it kind of had done that, and it was a really good time to sell it. We knew Tarl through kind of a professional co-rec league, essentially. We'd gone out with a different agent, not knowing that Tarl was a realtor or not having worked with him before. And the other agent was consistently showing us homes outside of our budget and what we were shooting for. So we had set a range, and he consistently was showing us homes outside of our range. And
really nice homes,
that were, yeah, yeah, exactly. So basically showing us homes we couldn't afford, and we felt like he wasn't really listening to what we were looking for, what we needed. And through conversation with Tarl, just as friends, learning that he was a realtor, we went out with him a few times. And we felt like he took the extra time to educate us on the home buying process, go over pros and cons of buying versus renting. He wasn't in a hurry just to get us in a home. Really took the time to educate us on the full process, and so we were making a well-informed decision. So I think once we felt we could trust Tarl to be candid with us and give us kind of a full set of facts, at that point we decided to use him.
We've had quite a history with Tarl, and it's kind of been neat to see the evolution of his home selling process to go from how it was, when he first started and we first met him to now. And a lot of what he uses really was a big deal for us because we were living in San Antonio at the time. Obviously, when you're doing a remote sale like that, one, you have to have a lot of trust in your realtor, and two, you want them to have remote capabilities that are up to date. And there was a couple cool things that he did. He had a GoPro during the open house that kind of showed us all the people that went into our house, and so it showed us the foot traffic. We got to see that. That was kind of a neat thing for as a client to see.
It made us feel a part of it, even though we weren't able to be in town
for the open house. And Tarl, I guess, differentiates himself in that we really feel like he goes above and beyond for his clients, and not just through technology. Like he's constantly looking for innovative ways to differentiate himself from any other realtor that I've ever worked with. Mm-hmm. So whether it was the GoPro or whether it was, he helped manage, the remodel, the cleanup of our house prior to sell. He was very upfront with us, constantly talking to us, via phone or email almost on a daily basis throughout this process. And really, it was because of his use of technology that, one, it allowed us to see these beautiful pictures that were being taken. He could probably spend hours talking about the right angle to shoot a room. He studies that. It's not just something where you come into a room and you snap a picture. There's lighting involved, there's angles involved, and every picture just looks like it's a showroom quality. There's just things that, if you're trying to make your house stand out in a market, there's things that he does that just go way above and beyond anything I've ever seen before.
Electronic signing of documents was really important since we were in another city. We weren't having to print, sign, and then scan things back in. He was using a secure electronic signing program, which really helped. We were able to do everything via email, mostly on our smartphones, actually. And so the close was really seamless, even from another city. And then the notary to close came out to our house, and it was a 15-minute meeting. So from just ease of sale was pretty incredible. And then also the presentation of the home on HAR for sale, the process of posting the home on HAR, having an open house that upcoming weekend, which the original posting had phenomenal pictures and a separate website with the video, and then also the open house he had where he had invited basically any realtors that were trying to sell homes in that area or had sold homes in that area. I think we had about 20 to 30 realtors or buyers come through, and the house was on HIR Thursday, open house was Saturday, and we had about 10 to 12 offers on Monday, and we picked an offer. And so we literally had posted the house and had an offer in less than a week, above market price, which was higher than any other home that had sold in that area within a few years. So we were pretty blown away by just the efficiency and the quickness of the whole process. Tara, when we were purchasing our first home from him, pulled the comps in the area, pulled kind of what was in our budget, what we were looking at, and spent the time to talk about the pros of actually renting versus buying to make sure that we were truly ready to buy a house, which I appreciated. Most realtors make obviously more money on a home sale than they would on a apartment listing or placing somebody in an apartment, and I felt like he really had our best interests at heart to make sure we were truly ready to buy a home before he would sell us a home. And he would present all the data. We went over all the comps. My husband and I are both accounting finance people, so we could really relate to seeing the numbers in the area, going over it in depth. It wasn't a big theoretical discussion about what he felt like was happening in the market. It was, here's the numbers, this is what's happened in this area the last year, this is what you're looking at in the next few years, and was really, I felt like a really candid, honest discussion about the financial aspect of the purchase we were making. So we appreciated that.
That what a realtor of Tarl's caliber brings to the table is he brings an understanding of the market. You might think that your house is worth X, but oftentimes you could be off by 10% one way or the other. So if you think it's worth more than it's actually worth, you could be sitting there for quite a while, just sitting on it with no foot traffic. And I think what Tarl brings to the picture is his marketing plan. He's put a lot of thought into it. The numbers speak for themselves. You can just look at his reviews online. His reviews are outstanding. It's not just something, he's not all show. He really does deliver for his clients. Whenever you're doing a transaction of this magnitude, whether it's selling your home, it's typically the biggest financial transaction of anybody's life, and not bringing a professional in who really knows what they're doing. I can tell you right now, we listed the house for what we thought was above what we could get because we thought because the market's as hot as it is. We ended up getting a percentage above what we listed it for. We would have been leaving a lot of money on the table, to be quite honest with you. The amount that was over our list price more than covered Tarl's fee that we ended up getting on the sale. So there's just a lot of industry experience that he brings, industry knowledge, and the ability to bring in the analytics, the comps in the area that realtors typically are the only ones that have access to. You don't want to necessarily just look and see what your neighbor sold his home for and assume that that's what you can get. With the right marketing, with the right marketing strategy, just the quickness of how Tarl lists it, how he posts it, he drives demand, he drives foot traffic. There's a method to what he's doing. I would never go back. Just the quality of the experience that we had, even remotely. So that even takes a greater amount of trust in a person, in a realtor, to kind of leave that all up to him, and then to have it listed and sold for that much above list price, within a week, is just that there's no way we could have done that ourselves. We set records with this home, so depending on the market, a realtor can bring honesty and candidness into a situation. Say, hey, we're listing it. Your expectations, they can temper expectations. They can kind of hold your hand through that process of, and again, it's the biggest financial transaction that we'll make probably ever, and not bringing a professional into the mix doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think kind of a misnomer is some people feel like realtors just drive people around, show them houses that they've seen online, and then they maybe review the contract before you sign, and then that's kind of the only service they're really providing. I think it's important too for sellers to keep in mind that you're going to have to pay the other realtor's fee regardless. So you're really only saving yourself, your realtor's 3%, and that amount of fee in the scheme of the size of the transaction is actually very small. And it's easy to make more than a 3% mistake in your approach, your marketing, your timing, not reviewing the contract, not negotiating your closing costs. Taro actually helped us negotiating closing costs with the buyer as well. They had come back and wanted a significant amount of money for repairs after they had their inspection done. And, Taro was able to advise that the comps were so our house was so competitive in that area that we didn't need to really, concede to that. And I don't know that we would have had that knowledge or base. We would have been tempted probably to try and, offer a few $1,000s towards these costs. So just in that, he pretty much, paid for a significant portion of the fee. And then really also the marketing aspect of the home and the amount of foot traffic they came in. I'm very confident that the offer we received was much higher than it would have been had we just posted ourselves.
Mm-hmm.